Want to know how to buy a home with no money down, no real credit score requirements, and no private mortgage insurance? Stay tuned. Hey there, it's Katrina Halterman, your local Washington State Realtor serving JBLM and all surrounding areas. In today's video, I'm going to share with you an incredible opportunity to buy a house with no money down, no real credit score requirement, and the best part, no mortgage insurance. It's called a VA loan. It's one of the best home loans out there, if not the best home loan you can get, that is only extended to qualifying current active duty soldiers, reservists, veterans, and surviving spouses. And they are backed by the United States Department of Veteran Affairs. In this video, we'll dive into the VA loan requirements for 2023, answer some commonly asked questions, and even do some calculations to help you determine what your funding fee would be and give you an outline to go by. Now, let's talk about how VA financing offers the most flexible guidelines when it comes to underwriting. They allow for the highest debt to income ratio, which means you can use more of your monthly income towards the mortgage payment compared to other home loan programs. Plus, VA loans don't really have a credit score requirement, although a higher credit score makes it easier to qualify and get better rates. However, if your credit score is lower than say 600, it might require a manual underwrite, and the guidelines will be stricter, which means that it will be harder to get approved. Almost all lenders have some kind of overlay when it comes to credit scores, so definitely check with your lender to see what their requirements are for credit scores. Or reach out to me if you want to be connected to my trusted local lender. A common question that comes up is whether VA loans are only for first-time home buyers, and the answer is absolutely not. You can use a VA loan for your first, second, or even third primary home purchase. If you're trying to buy your second home after already purchasing your first home, and let's say you still own that first home, it's going to come down to how much entitlement you have on your certificate of eligibility, which will determine if you can purchase that second home using VA financing, and may also affect how much you may have to put down. You can indeed own more than one property at the same time with a VA loan, but again, it comes down to how much entitlement you have left. And we'll go over how to determine that in this video. Before we delve into the specific loan requirements for 2023, I want to caution you about searching for VA lenders online. And all I have to say is that there are some companies out there that market themselves as being all about veterans. But there will be instances where their rates can actually be higher than a local lender. You don't have to settle for the first pre-approval you get. You are allowed to shop around for rates. And I usually recommend shopping with 3 different lenders within a 30-day time frame just to be safe and to have as minimal effect on your credit. If you do this within this window, the credit bureaus will see it as if you're just shopping around and will count that as just one inquiry. So don't be afraid to compare rates. It's essential to know exactly who you're working with to ensure you're getting the best deal. If you need a referral to a trusted local mortgage broker in Washington State who specializes in VA loans around JBLM, go ahead and message me and I'd be more than happy to connect you with them. Now, let's discuss who is eligible to use a VA loan. Eligibility requirements include active duty or has served 90 continuous days, or met length of service requirements, which is generally 90 days in wartime or 181 days in peacetime, or has completed 90 days of active duty or 6 credible years in the Selective Reserve or National Guard, or being a surviving spouse of a veteran who died while in service, or from a service-related disability and has not remarried. To determine your eligibility, you can visit eBenefits and pull a certificate of eligibility, which will be in the link below. This site will also let you know how much entitlement you have. This is an important document that lenders will require during the pre-approval process, but many lenders can pull this themselves on your behalf. While lenders can assist in obtaining this document, doing it yourself upfront can help clarify your eligibility. Even though you can't use the VA loan for every single property type, there are still a wide range of homes you can purchase with a VA loan. The VA loan can be used to purchase single-family unit homes, duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, certain condos, townhomes, manufactured homes, and these manufactured homes can be either single wide or larger, twice moved or more, but it must own the land that it's on and be title eliminated by closing. Now, let's talk about the benefits of using VA financing. The most significant advantage is that VA loans don't require a down payment. No money down. There is no loan limit. While FHA and conventional loan limits still exist, thanks to the Blue Water Navy Vietnam Veterans Act of 2019, VA loan limits are a thing of the past. What does this mean for our veteran friends? Well, it means you can now borrow larger amounts without worrying about having to make a down payment. Previously, if you exceeded the loan limits, you had to put down a down payment, but not anymore. Veteran borrowers now have more flexibility in the loan limit amounts that they can take out without the burden of a down payment. And let me tell you, this is especially helpful in pricier areas like Pierce, King, and Snohomish counties, where home prices are higher compared to other parts of Washington state. So veterans, you have the freedom to borrow more and achieve your home ownership dreams without the stress of a down payment. You can possibly purchase homes worth $1 or $2 million with no money down, but with that being said, there are other requirements you have to meet to see if you're eligible for that much. If it's not your first VA loan, your loan limit might be affected, so talk to your lender about that. Additionally, unlike other loan programs, VA loans don't require mortgage insurance, even if you put less than 20% down. This means you can avoid mortgage insurance altogether, potentially saving you hundreds of dollars a month, which is why I believe that the VA loan program is the best loan program out there. If you're in the position where you have the money to put down and you have the option to use other loan programs, in that scenario, I would say talk to your mortgage lender and compare the numbers. The numbers never lie. By comparing the numbers, you can determine which option makes the most sense for you. Putting more money down can make your VA funding fee lower as well. When it comes to VA loan, credit score requirements aren't really set in stone, as we mentioned earlier. Now, you might have stumbled upon various websites and articles suggesting that a minimum score of 580 is necessary. Well, truth be told, having at least a 580 credit score is probably a good idea. However, don't lose hope if your score falls below that range, because exceptions can be made. Especially if your credit scores are lower than 600, the lenders will want to conduct a manual underwrite on your loan, which will mean they'll be a tad stricter with the qualifications. But generally speaking, if your credit score is higher than 600, chances are you'll be eligible for VA financing, assuming you meet the other requirements. Now that we've talked about some advantages of VA financing that we mentioned earlier, such as no down payment, no mortgage insurance, and the ability to secure a loan even with a lower credit score, that's all fantastic, right? However, I must be honest with you and shed some light on a couple of downsides as well. One disadvantage is the upfront funding fee required by VA financing. As a first-time home buyer, Using VA financing, the funding fee is 2.15% of the purchase price, which is added to the loan amount. This means that if you're buying a $500,000 home with no money down, your loan amount will be $510,750. So be aware that you'll end up owing more on the home than its original price, which will be bundled up into the mortgage. If it's not your first time using your VA loan benefit, then that funding fee percentage changes. There are veterans who are exempt from the funding fee, and this added benefit is extended to veterans who have a 10% disability rating or higher, or be a Purple Heart recipient. Another drawback of VA funding is that all condos must receive VA approval. In areas with a large military presence, many condos in those communities will receive VA approval. However, if you're a veteran moving to a different area with not a lot of military presence and you're looking to purchase a condo, you do have to do your due diligence and check guidelines and see if that condo can be approved with the VA. Otherwise, VA financing isn't an option for that property. This limitation significantly reduces the potential inventory, which can be challenging, especially in competitive markets. While there are ways to seek VA spot approvals and navigate this issue, there are no guarantees and the approval process can be lengthy. Additionally, VA financing requires the property to be your primary residence. You cannot use a VA loan to purchase an investment property. VA strictly mandates that you live in the property. However, they will allow you to purchase up to a fourplex property as long as you occupy at least 25% of that multiplex. Now, a common question is whether you can buy a home with a VA loan and later convert it to an investment property. The answer is yes. But typically, most people wait at least a year of living in the home before making that transition and renting it out. Before we dive into a couple more VA requirements, I'd like to ask you for a quick favor. If you find any value in this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to this channel. These actions help YouTube algorithm and assist me in my goal of educating more home buyers. Now, one of the reasons VA financing is considered flexible is because it allows you to allocate more of your income towards debt. Unlike many other loan programs with maximum debt to income ratios like 50% for conventional financing and as high as 57% for FHA, VA financing officially has a maximum of 41% written into their guidelines. However, in practice, VA loans with ratios as high as 45 to 50% can get approved. In fact, my lender has seen numbers as high as 66% debt to income ratio get approved, but it could vary depending on certain compensating factors. This flexibility means that if you're considering VA financing, you're likely to qualify for a higher loan amount compared to other programs thanks to allowance of higher debt ratios and the absence of mortgage insurance. It's crucial to work with a knowledgeable professional who understands VA loans and doesn't impose additional restrictions or overlays on the program. And what are overlays? It's when mortgage companies add their own restrictions to a program even if the VA allows it. Now, let's talk about VA appraisals. I often hear people say that VA appraisals are more stringent than those of other loan programs. VA appraisers have specific requirements they need in order to assess a property. They pretty much follow the same guidelines as FHA, USDA, or any other government-backed loan program. If certain elements are missing, they have to note them or request their inclusion. Their main concern is health and safety, so if there are any health and safety issues, they could possibly call them out and ask for these to be corrected before closing. However, one excellent aspect of VA appraisals is that they have to notify you if the appraised value is expected to be lower than the purchase price. This is called tidewater. Unlike traditional appraisals, where the appraiser can bring in value lower than the purchase price without warning, VA appraisals give you an opportunity to provide additional comparables and argue for a higher value. This allows you to anticipate and challenge a potentially low appraisal value, something that you can't do with any other loan type. Lastly, let's discuss income and asset requirements. Most lenders prefer to see a consistent employment history in the same line of work for the past 2 years. Steady income and employment stability are important factors, and just so you know, related schooling can count towards that employment history. A lender may view a recent transition from a salary job to a commission sales position negatively, which could affect your qualifications. However, there are exceptions and individual circumstances that can be considered. So it's crucial to work with a professional who can assess your situation and determine if any adjustments or workarounds are possible, especially after the last few years where we've seen a spike in gaps in employment, people getting laid off, and or people changing jobs. What I can say is that the VA is flexible in understanding some of these changes. So don't be so fixated on that 2-year employment history in the same line of work. Give yourself a chance to explain your situation to your mortgage professional and let them see if it's something that they can work with. As for income and assets, there's no specific minimum requirement set by the VA. While VA doesn't impose strict guidelines, having these assets can act as a compensating factor when being manually underwritten or in situations where they can enhance your overall qualifications. It's important to reiterate that working with a knowledgeable professional is vital to ensure a smooth VA loan process. Someone who understands VA loans. Unfortunately, some individual companies may not grasp VA loans and may wrongly suggest that you don't qualify when in fact you do. I understand that this video contained a lot of information and you might not be ready to purchase a home or may need further guidance. And that's okay. Before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to express my gratitude to every past and present serviceman or woman. To all veterans out there and their family members, thank you for your dedication and sacrifice to our great nation. I truly appreciate everything you've done. Lastly, if you want more information on VA loans, feel free to call me at 253-271-9545. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. It truly helps my channel so much and lets me understand what kind of content I should create more of. Thank you so much for watching. See you later, friends.